but I couldn't get to it. I thought the whole time I'm going, okay, I'm not leaving here without that darn picture. And I kept looking at yours, and I'm going, what the hell did she do? How did you get down there? What was going on there in your head?
So I did have my Wellingtons on, but I tried getting under Northville Road. I guess it would have been from west of Northville Road, but you had to go down from.
I parked in the park and walked over the bridge.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely needed Wellingtons in there.
Well,
I mean,
Kevin, tell her what you did to get your picture.
what's that?
Tell her what you did to get the picture.
Oh, what I did was I attached it to a pole and then went down. I figured that's how you did it.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. So I hopped over the crash barrier, and then you can kind of go a bit further north, and then you can get down through the trees. There's a little kind of gap in the trees.
Oh, you were, I kept looking, I'm going, this girl's got something wrong with her.
It was so funny because I got down there and there's a deer in the river, and I'm sure it like frightened the life out of it. Like, I'm sure no one's been down there. What are you doing here?
Well, good job. I thought your picture looked better than mine anyway, but.
Oh no, I liked your perspective on it. I liked because I think you were looking through the other arch or something. You had a different angle on it, slightly, yeah.
Yeah, I got a little more to the left of that than you did. Yep.
Yeah,
So do I have to bring
I
a
still
drone
like
out?
yours. What's that?
Do I need to bring a drone out to get the shot the way you want it?
Yeah.
I think if you had waders, I think you could get a different shot, but you would need something that was more than knee high.
Yeah. Well, I waited till right after it started raining, so I went there. So the river was up pretty high.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah,
that's when I started thinking it would have mattered what time you were there, and could have been a lot different water level.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's one I've driven past a million times, and we used to live right 6 and Northville Road there.
Right there.
So, I've seen it before, and I just had never done it. And I can't remember what made me kind of go down there. I just think maybe I was just desperate for a picture for camera closes.
Well, you did a great job. I thought it was a really good picture, though. I thought it was great.
Yeah, well, I haven't been, I have, this is going to be the third meeting where I put nothing in. Like, nothing.
No pictures from Scotland, Anne?
Nothing that's in. And I couldn't go anywhere. I was in
Oh.
quarantine.
Did
So,
everyone see Scott's photo as the lead image in an article about how the trains, the Polar Express trains were going to be canceled this year because of the COVID? And Scott's image was the lead photo.
Really?
Oh, right.
And it was a
That's
fabulous image.
So they're
Congrats.
not going to have
He's
them
coming
this year?
tonight. Have we got him in yet? Because I know he said he was joining tonight.
Scott's here.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
here.
all right. Hello.
Having audio issues, but yeah, I'm here.
Tom, is that Schwabaker Landing behind you?
Let's try this again.
Why can't I see everybody? I can't see.
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Is that Schwabaker Landing behind you?
No, that's up in Grayling on the Manistee River.
Okay. Has some similarity. I guess there's no mountains behind it, so I should know. Admit. And I'm actually recording.
Thank you. We're glad. Yeah, it's been a while.
Hey, Keith.
Ken,
So yeah, I'll talk to you. I'll catch up with you later here. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, bye.
Well, it's nice to have a dozen back.
Doug doesn't have his camera on, or his something's
Got
not
his,
on.
mute on. Gary, are you going to show some of those from
There's
the
everybody.
last person you sent me? All the colors?
Which one was that?
Are you going to talk about that guy that does all the colors in his pictures? They look like paintings.
Oh, I think I have a link to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
He
we can take a
finds
look
more
at that.
stuff than we'll ever be able to keep up with.
That was some very impressive composite photography. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, just go close the door and come on back with me.
Let's see, Tom Pinar is not here.
No.
The OPC guys aren't here. Unfortunate.
Well, at least we got Scott back. Scott, do we have to change to the meetings to keep you from being on top of your club meetings? He's not. He didn't hear me. Oh, I know what I haven't done.
He's
Screen. Okay, we should be in good shape to roll. And we are recording,
We are, okay.
so don't
Take a
say
look
bad
at
about it.
what everyone submitted, and then we can decide where we want to go from there.
Okay,
I will take over the share. Okay. Let's see, Grinch. Let's see. We have Ann 1 and Ann 2.
yeah, but we don't know which is which.
Yes, we do. Now, the assignment was to photograph street photography without people, mostly without people. And we watched the video. I think everyone had a chance to see that. And so let's take a look. Ann, tell us about these.
This was taken downtown Los Angeles. We went on a graffiti tour just a couple years ago, and just walking by, and I saw this car there, and I thought it was just made a cool, quick photo.
Yeah, it is.
no, it's very nice.
Thank you.
One of the places I always want to go to is Cuba, where they have all the 1950s cars. You know, everybody drives the old classic cars there for some reason. Probably because they can't get new cars there, but always a colorful setting. This kind of reminds me of that.
I think the vintage car makes, like a modern car would not have worked in that image. I don't think.
Right.
And this was also on that graffiti tour, and they're not only graffiti on the walls, but they have them some on the sidewalks and on signs. And I just kind of like this just with the feet showing. And I noticed that the guy that we were, Fred Herzgov, I think it was him, he had a couple pictures with just people's feet showing.
I like that. I think that's a nice addition. It gives it scale.
And again, this is also LA on that tour. And on the street signs there, they seem to just put these stickers. They're known to put stickers all over signs. And call them tags, I guess. And so just took a picture of that too. I put in quite a different variety to see if this is what you're thinking about as far as street art without people.
I don't know if I preconceived anything. I'm just, we watched the video, and I'm just curious as to what everybody was going to interpret. So this is great.
Thanks. That's in Italy. I don't remember which town. I'm real fond of taking pictures of old doors, windows, stuff like that. I'm intrigued by the look of it, the different textures and colors.
I think I could spend an entire vacation in Europe just photographing windows and doors and storefronts and things like that. Just real simple compositions. This is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. That was, I saw that Fred Zirkov had done something with bottles, and I had taken this 2018 in Venice, and it was raining. It was pouring rain. And so there's some water coming off the shelves there. And so I just took a quick shot of that.
You have the eye.
Thank you. And this one was a little town called Calcutta. And I happened to catch the cat in front of the sign with cat is in the name. And if you ever go to Italy, this is maybe an hour north of Rome. This town also is fabulous for old doors and windows and just stairways and just awful fun for a photographer.
And that looks like it could have come right out of Fred Herzog's book.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're right. Boy, just look at all the details, the downspouts, I guess that's a handrail there. You never see that in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And the composition is great.
Yes.
Thank you. That's also in that little town. There I found a lot of, actually I have about 4 other pictures with the wheelbarrow. So I don't know why everybody has a wheelbarrow and they're outside these doors. But that captured my eye with the bright turquoise against the old colors and the rocks in the sidewalk.
Just beautiful stone, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
And I'm not sure which town this was in Italy, but I think it was not far from Calcutta, about another half hour. Can't remember some of the names of the little tiny hilltop towns that we went to.
A lot of them around Cinque Terre have stepways like that.
Yeah, this one wasn't there. This was more just north, maybe an hour and a half from Rome, near Civita.
So is this a daytime shot? I see the light coming
Yes.
through here. Yeah, but
The
the
light
light
was
is
on.
on here, and there's a
Mhm.
light on down the stairs. It's really a
Yes.
great shot.
Thanks. Because there's so many close little tiny alleyways and it gets dark in there. And I think that's why the lights are on sometimes.
Stand up, I can't hear you.
Again, this was
Marcus.
another Italy shot, obviously. Early in the morning, we had gone there to the post office and to drop something off. And there really wasn't anybody around. Post office was open, but there was nobody out and about. So I was able to take a shot without people there.
The
Yeah, I
street
usually don't
looks
think-
remarkably clean.
Yeah. Yeah, some are. There's others, like I have some shots that I took in Rome at night, and I had to actually take out the cigarette butts that were all over the street. I had to remove them from my photo. But this one, yeah, this town was pretty clean. And this town was near Montepulciano. You go up a really steep hill with a lot of cypress trees, really beautiful area near Montepulciano. And we went on a day, everything was closed. We went there specifically to go to this restaurant. I think it was in the middle of the week, like a Tuesday. The whole town was closed down. So easy to get pictures that day with nobody around.
The colors just work so well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the colors against the, the like kind of tans and
Yeah, the
rust.
earthy background.
And that's in Iceland. They have a lot of those tin homes, tin siding, or I don't know what kind of siding. It looks like it's tin and colorful. And I just like the perspective on that one. And I love taking pictures of bikes against, graffiti or old door or wherever. So that's one of the ones that I took in Rome. And that's in my hometown, not my hometown, my in-laws, I mean, my grandparents' hometown of Fondo, Italy, up in northern Italy. And there are some people in there if you look, but they're not, you can't see them too much. But they have a lot of, the roadways there are super, super narrow. The cars here are very little. And there's some that you could barely fit one car down. In fact, we had rented a car and we went down one road to get to my family's home, and we couldn't make it through. We had to back up. It's just a regular sized car.
Mm.
So they have these mirrors on a lot of the roads because of that.
Very creative composition, Ann. Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So is this you here in the mirror?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, taking the picture. You
Yeah,
can-
yeah, that's me and my
Correct.
husband. You're right. That's why I didn't even realize that. I just said there's some people, but that is me.
You see him right there. She's taking the picture of him there.
I get it right now. There's more here.
A tough act to follow, Ann.
Oh,
When I was going through this, I just love this shot. It's almost like you're just waiting there for somebody to walk by, you know, and at any moment you're going to see a leg and a foot stick out.
right.
I'm walking by, you know, and the tones and the lighting, it's just beautiful.
Thank you. Somewhere in Italy, which I can't remember now which town. But you'll see a lot of that in Italy. And for those of you who've been there, you probably know that, where they have these, you know, archways and they go through where either people drive their cars or whatever, or just a walkway. And it makes for a nice, you know, view from the other side. And that's another thing I take a lot of pictures of is laundry. This is in Burano.
Hey, I just joined in. Can you go back to the other picture? I wanted to point out something that I think might be interesting. See on the other door, at the bottom of the door to the left or of the to the right are two concrete blocks. You see that?
Yep.
You see that? I don't know whether I can show it again at the.
Oh, right
not
there?
Right here.
that one. Yes, exactly that one. These are so-called wheel chasers. When they had horse and carriages, you know, the carriages had open wheels, and so for them not to damage the wall of the entrance, they put these wheel chasers on it. So when the wheel drove over these blocks, it centered the wagon back into the middle of the entrance. Mm. These are art pieces. Sometimes they are cast iron, sometimes castings, sometimes marble or anything like that. This is really interesting. They are all different.
Well, it's actually on the door in the front too.
Yeah, right here.
Yes,
Yeah, that's right.
that's another one. That's right. The so-called wheel chasers. Look this up under this name and you find amazing pieces of art there.
Thanks for pointing that out. That's interesting.
Mhm.
And that was in Burano.
Well, this is a good use of shadows. I love that coming off the laundry like that. It's really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, no underwear up there this time. A lot of times I'll take a picture of the laundry and I get home and I'm on my computer and went, oh God, there's a bra and somebody's underpants.
I
Yeah.
don't know. This might be something up here.
Yeah. I think so.
Oh yeah, in the behind there, I guess on the right, there's one.
Colors are really beautiful.
Yes.
Like the detail of the pot in the upper left too, in the window.
And I think this was Los Angeles, but it could have been New York. I'm not positive. But I really liked the red fire hydrant stood out against that bright graffiti wall.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
There's that wheel chaser again.
Is this
Yeah, these-
downtown Northville?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. It's nice.
Yeah, this is the other Anne now.
Yeah.
And two, okay.
Yeah, I like that in black and white too, Anne.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, this is, I grabbed a few that I was really like, I think I struggled between what is architectural, we're talking about street photography here, and what is
Mm-hmm.
architectural and what is street. So,
This looks street, I think.
mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the lines in this. They're
There's
good.
probably some overlap between those, Ann.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I
The
like
pigeon.
old paint.
These are pretty tiny.
Oh, that's nice.
That's nice with the reflection. Where'd you take that, Anne?
That's that was in Ann Arbor. I think that was Graffiti Alley, or just the kind of the slip, the kind of the loading dock. Well, it was near the camera mall shop. I know that.
Oh, the
Nice.
reflection is so strong.
Yeah, and these were actually really great colorful shots too. But I don't know. I liked it in black and white better, I think.
With the gum.
And this also is the gum wall. Yeah.
Nice composure with the anchor.
Yeah,
there.
that's good. Where's the gum wall?
It's in Graffiti Alley
Okay, in Ann
in
Arbor.
Ann Arbor. Yeah,
I've never been there.
it's ever changing.
I've been there, but I don't remember the gum. Is that around the corner? Do you have to go into the back and then turn?
It's near the street side. Gosh, I don't even know how to describe it to you.
Okay.
And I don't know Ann Arbor that well either. Tom would probably, is Tom on? He would probably know.
Yeah, I don't know where the gum wall is, actually.
Gary, you walked right by it.
You did? Okay. Wasn't
Right
that-
on the way. It's right on the way in before you turn into the main park.
Yeah.
Okay.
And these are ones I mean, I haven't been out shooting since I've been back. So these are out of like 2, 3, 4 years old, some of these. So
Well, that's good.
Nice.
Those are good.
Well, I probably missed the assignment a little bit. There's not a lot of street going on here. But I wanted to do fresh shots, and the only time I've been
You
out
do.
was
Stop it.
out to Greenfield Village a week or so ago.
Yeah, I wanna
So
look at
they're at least devoid of people.
Nice. So they're running the steam little engine, and they're running the steam engine there right now then, still.
Yes, yes. There
It's
was
nice
actually an engineer in there, but I waited till he ducked.
Good.
I like the warm colors in this one.
Yeah, it's right there by the tracks as you come in, and I've never taken a picture in there.
I don't think I've been in there either.
And the assignment photo, the room.
Well, when we listened to the guy's videotape, one of the things he said was you want to capture a period in time.
Yeah.
And
Talking about photo club though, the assignment,
for
the room.
this week or
Yeah, for tomorrow.
for tomorrow, that was about magazine stuff. Yeah, home with magazine quality.
Oh, I thought it was a room. Oh, maybe I misread.
Yeah, well, it's meant to be a room in a house or something.
Oh,
Again, just there weren't a lot of people around in Greenfield Village.
that's nice, Bob. That reminds me of where we started with this group, the painterly look.
Yeah, it's not quite artography, but
It would be a good one to take there.
there's the bicycle I like.
Yep.
The security
like
guard
that
was
too.
riding that. Just a shadow in a corner.
Yeah, I like this, the simplicity of that though. It's nice.
I'm listening to the words that you're describing these with. It's very interesting. Just remember that. We're going to talk a little bit later about some artists that did similar stuff like this. So it's interesting to hear your descriptions. This is good. Oops, sorry.
This is inside of a building and it was very dark. And I took 2 pictures, but this is the second one. And I hadn't changed my settings. I shoot manual. And so it was shot 5 stops under and I was able to recover it.
Yeah. I like the Edison bulb.
Yeah, it's in the Edison power plant. And there's the stairway going up from different vantage point. Just, you know, a bit of what people do, you know, it's part of the culture. You've got transportation and there's some components.
What we leave behind.
And I love these rails. I don't know that I ever got a great shot of them, but a whole bunch of railroad rails. They're in a pile.
I like that. I like the angle you took that photo from.
One might be cool in black and white and jack up the contrast of it.
Yeah, that could be.
Mm-hmm.
And just this one was a little tough because there were people to the right of it, and they had just redone the boardwalk, so the lumber looked too new.
The colors are great, though. That reminds me of video using the color.
Yeah, I did soften that a bit. Well, I used one of Gary's topaz tricks, using the impressionist preset and then dialing it way back on opacity.
Good comment about the color. This one I got to ask you, what's this about, Bob?
You know what the answer is. Gary's sitting beside me. I wanted to do street photography, so I photographed the street.
Okay.
Well executed.
And of course, this is one of my favorite buildings there, and there'd been people crawling all around it, but I just thought this was, again, a period in time. I softened the colors up on this one a little.
Looks like a Cotswold cottage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
It
Cotswold.
does.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're in Cotswold here?
Yeah, this is in Greenfield Village, but Cotswold.
Look, looks like you could have been in Cotswold, England.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it came from Cotswold, England.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
Didn't
brought
know
it over. It's a 1620 building, I believe.
Okay. Even, I mean, everything about it looks like it. It's great.
This is one of the buildings where the ladies have the gardens and stuff. So we're standing outside and had to socially distance, but again, just kind of a time period. Soft colors. Also shooting through the windows because I don't think they would let us in at that point.
I like this one.
It's very
Blues
nice.
and the reds.
Another shot through the windows. And we're done.
Good stuff.
I never even thought to do my
You know-
5,000 Europe pictures.
You know, Bob, I don't see my name. Did you not get my photos? It said that it was delivered.
I thought I transferred them.
I didn't see any other ones.
Well, let me look. What day did you do that? Do you remember?
Would have been in the last 2 days, not today. So maybe Monday or Tuesday, I think. Yeah, because I wasn't home. It would have been Monday or Tuesday.
Okay. I recall seeing them. I wonder if I sent them to the wrong address when I moved them over to Gary.
You can always share your screen, Bob, to do those if you've got them.
Pardon?
You can always share your screen if you have them,
Oh,
rather than transferring them.
let's see here. On 8/12, do you think?
No, it would have been September.
23, change in dimensions.
I did it through the WeTransfer.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it right now. Well, I typed your name in to look. What else would I look for? We transfer. This
Well,
transfer expires. Here we go.
Fine.
Let me get the files.
These are a series of pictures I took last summer in Jackson. They've had all these murals painted over the last couple of years in the city, in the downtown area.
Those are nice.
Yeah, they're pretty incredible murals, and and I've never really had a chance to show them, so I thought this would be the perfect
Yeah.
chance.
Wow,
Wow.
That is cool.
that's cool.
Wow.
Now, I think they're painting some in Ann Arbor this week.
Wow, look at that.
Oh, that's cool.
That is really well done.
Yeah,
do they post the name of the artist?
I think they did. I think they had some brochures out and with a little map, you know, showing where they all are and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're still there. So. The one on the far left up on the top is kind of interesting. The optical illusion there
Yeah, it is.
of 3 dimensions.
They're beautiful murals. Wow. Where is this, Keith?
Jackson, Michigan.
Wow, I
Right
had
in the
no idea
downtown.
they had that.
Yeah.
Bob, I sent it to you again. Maybe you'll.
Oh, I've got them.
Oh, okay.
They're all JPEGs. There's about 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah.
I can switch back to you right after we do
Oh,
Keith's.
no, that's okay.
No, we want to see.
Oh, that's neat. Oh, that's really good.
Wow, almost looks like a photograph.
Yeah, those are some real artists.
Wow.
These are just all throughout the city?
Yeah, mostly in the downtown area.
Hmm.
They're all in walking distance. You can just walk around them.
Well, they spent some money on those.
Yeah, I think quite a few of the artists are from, yeah, all around.
Wow.
That's a good
That's nice.
contradiction. Style.
Those are great.
Those were nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, if somebody's looking for something to do, that's a nice little field trip for you to go down there. Sunday's a good day because there's not many people walking around on Sundays. So.
Bob, if I give you back the screen, can you show Linda's pictures?
You bet.
Okay.
Well, we can. Oh, okay.
Well, let's do it. Go ahead. You got it, Bob.
There's one.
Okay.
So this was in Dubrovnik, and it said no people, but sometimes I think street scenes are cool sometimes when there's animals and no people. So
Oh, yeah.
one of my, this is unedited though, but I just thought it was a neat photo.
Oh, that's interesting.
Also Dubrovnik, a true street scene of a street. And I know some people don't care for that singular color, but I like it. I think it can be fun and effective.
I like that.
thing to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just, like for club, I don't know how you would.
It has to be in color on club. They used
Yeah,
to
and
let you
I
do
think
that.
it wouldn't probably score very well compared to color photo. So I don't know, but
It could be creative, right? It could be creative category, sure.
It has to look like altered reality, whatever
well,
that is.
that would be this one, I guess. And so Gary, I felt bad last week. I didn't really do such a great showing on the technique. I went back and tried a little more again. And this is actually kind of really last week's assignment, but it is a street scene and there are no people in it. So
No, you're doing well. Is this
So-
E-Park?
yes,
Looks like,
this is in Detroit, but I don't know where.
it looks like Z Park.
Yeah, that balcony, I think, is right next to the parking deck.
Well, I have it in black and white, so you'll see it more clearly but that was using the different blending modes and all that. So now this is just a straight black and white of the same.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Z Park
Yep, it is. I can tell. I remember the balcony on the right-hand side there.
on the west side of the alley.
Yeah, that's a great place to go.
There's a little bit of debris on that catwalk. It just reminded me of that comment about, pictures of things we leave behind. So
Those metal grids are new.
the metal grids.
How big are those holes? Or is that a different picture?
What do you mean, the grids I'm taking the photo through?
Yeah,
I've never been there before, so I don't know if they're new.
those very big holes.
I think I could have fit my lens through it if I wanted to, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
I think they're fairly big. It's been a while. These are older.
Oh, these are nice.
Again, this is a throwback. So Gary, you had mentioned about, the blurring sometimes not being as effective if it's lighter colors. So I thought I would go back after I added all the color and then blur and then do the blending in the layers. So I still don't love the picture, but this was a lot closer to what you had talked about.
But you're learning the technique, and that was, I think, was the goal of doing all this. And you're going to use this technique over and over again, assuming, and you're going to find pictures that are going to work, and so it's a learning experience. This is good.
Yeah, this one turned out, I think, better.
I think it was good.
And this is back to the street scene. And this, when I took this, I had in mind the colors. He talked about the colors, and I felt like the blue and the red with the yellow, those seem to be strong colors that he used. And so that was my thinking there. This is hydroelectric power plant up in Elk Rapids, Michigan. It's a really cool building. I still haven't figured out the perfect way to photograph it yet, but I know it's in there somewhere. I know there's potential. So I also did this black and white. I did it in color. The color, there's so much blue that I just thought it was very boring. So when I went to black and white, I thought it was still kind of boring. So I ended up using some of those creative things again. And so again, it's kind of a combination of the street scene with no people, using some of those creative techniques.
I think that's good. I think the playing with the colors is a good idea. We're going to talk more about that.
Okay, well, they're virtual, or not reality, but see, I felt like this just was kind of boring, and I just didn't know how to make it any more interesting.
I love the mask on the handlebars.
Yeah. I wish I could have got the gentleman who was riding the bike. He was a character as well, but at that time he wasn't, and I don't know where he was, but he wasn't there. So.
Okay, Gary, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay.
As soon as I figure out how.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, no problem.
Good job, Linda.
Let's see, stop share.
let's see. Leave share screen, okay.
I get that.
Okay. We'll go to, we did Keith. Ron?
Interesting.
That was
Can you make these
London.
bigger?
The side was just really interesting. This was in Cambridge, and we were walking along, and one of the pavers, gee, I wish you could make it bigger so you could actually read it. What it says is, "Here lies the body of William Yates, attorney at law, 1708."
Oh, that's really cool.
And if it was bigger, you'd be able to read it. I did what I could to make the contrast a little bit stronger so you could read it better. And
Let me see if I open it in Photoshop, it'll get bigger. There you go.
There you go.
I just happened to look down and God, there it was right in front of me. And I thought, my God, that's the guy down there that died in 1708.
Look how they spelled things.
Yeah.
What is the scale of that? Like, is that just
That paver is probably about 12 by 12, something like that.
And Ron, this is my hometown, and I have never seen that.
Yeah, it's right just outside of one of the art shops that my wife dragged me through. As you were leaving, you came in one side of the shop, and then you walked through and you exited on another street that was perpendicular to the one where you went in. And I was looking around, and it was not. We're not talking about great art here. We're talking about tourist trap art. And so I'm sort of looking around thinking, okay, God, I'm glad that's done. And I looked down and there it was.
Wow.
Hey, Anne. So
Yeah.
I always thought in England they use the word solicitor. So
Yeah.
what's an attorney?
Well, a solicitor in English law, I'm a lawyer, and English law, solicitor is basically, this is this overly simplified definition, but that's a lawyer or attorney who does not go to court. A barrister is a trial attorney. I mean, that's, again, that's oversimplified, but that's kind of the distinction. Now, in 1700s, I mean, they were all attorneys.
Okay, so they do use that word.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you knew the answer to that, Ron, because I didn't.
Solicitor and barrister. Yeah, when I first started law school and I started reading some of the old English cases, they talked about solicitors, and I thought, are they talking about prostitutes? But it turns out that was not the case. Well, I mean, I guess being a lawyer is the second oldest profession.
I would love to know the story there.
Yeah.
The colors really work well. I mean, the touch of blue with the orangish colors, the composition, the simplistic forms.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of a study in color wheel theory.
Yeah, absolutely. It really works well.
Thank you.
Oops, I'm going to open these all in Photoshop. So
These are all 1400
okay.
camera club size. So yeah, if you open them in Photoshop, it might be better.
Yeah. Let me see.
That's a little wine shop that was down a narrow street. Whoops. Okay, you want to go back to that?
I just want to get that one open. Sorry.
That's in Belt Alley, Detroit. That was the early morning sun. And I just really liked the contrast.
It's right below the one Linda had.
That's in Z Park Alley.
Oh, you know your ear. So is this a monochrome? I can't really tell.
It's what?
Would this be monochrome? Is it sepia?
It's monochrome with a sepia treatment.
Okay.
Okay, remember this again for later. Okay, these are good. You're gonna enjoy this.
That big rectangular block thing, that's a counterweight so that they could actually move the fire escape. That's a wine shop in Sicily.
Love the colors here.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm. One of my
Look at
favorite.
all the textures and
Mhm.
color.
I mean, we came upon this and it's like, oh my God, I cannot walk past this without taking a photo.
That's great.
What do you got, bocce balls on the left?
I'm not sure what though. I'm not sure. I think
I
that
don't
they were
think
too
so.
big to be bocce balls. I think,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously this hadn't been used in many, many years, but the wine shop had it outside along with the tricycle as past vehicles used to deliver wine. That's in London. That's actually taken from up on the London Eye, and is Blue Hour, obviously. And fortunately, there were only about a dozen people in here. So to make it fit the assignment, I just did some selective photoshopping.
Great
Well done.
colors,
Yeah.
the orange and the blue.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
That's on along the People Mover in Detroit.
So I'm seeing these three colors, like the primary colors, red, blue, and yellow.
Another good observation. Okay. You're wondering why I'm saying this, right?
Okay, this is in Notting Hill. You know the movie Notting Hill? This is actually in Notting Hill. And I was walking along and I said to my wife, I said, look, Joanne, look what's going on for the next 450 yards. She said, you are such a pervert. And I said, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to take a photo of that. This is a street market in London. I just liked all the colors and kind of the focal part is the off-white skirt and the white skirt, but all the colors kind of feed into that. I thought anyway.
Yeah, all the
I think
textures
you
and
do.
colors. Great chat.
Thank you.
We saw that one. Okay. All right.
I had 8. I think we've seen all 8.
Let's see.
Yeah, we've seen them all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tom?
Oh, this is, can you hear me? Yep.
Yep.
This is just in Ann Arbor on Ashley Street. I just kind of liked what was going on here. I'm not sure what goes on inside that building. It always looks kind of sketchy when I walk by, but
Yeah. I like
I like
yeah.
Up here.
Yeah.
I like those two fans in the window.
yeah.
And I see the red, yellow, blue.
Well, all the dirt on the blinds are nice.
Yeah. And this is in Chicago, steps up to one of the subway stops. I think it's at Wabash and Adams. They kind of like the colors and the rust.
I like that. That's really neat.
Ah,
And this is also in Ann Arbor. It's on Main Street as you're coming into town. There's
I think we lost you.
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Simplicity here.
Tom, we lost
that?
your audio.
Tom, we lost your audio.
I don't know what's, hold on a second.
There we
There
go.
you go. You're back. You're back.
This is in Ann Arbor on Main Street as you're coming into town. There's a muffler shop and he's out in front.
By the mattress store?
Yeah.
Yeah. I never noticed. I drive by it all the time and never noticed that. Good
There's
eye.
usually cars parked in front of them, but one day it was cleared, so I walked by and took a picture.
It's kind of lonely there, isn't it?
I like the
You put-
numbers.
You put that into club, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
showed that one club. This is in the Ponte Vecchio in Florence. And I liked the colors, and then as I was playing around cropping, I saw a little guy in the window, which kind of was
Yeah.
interesting.
Nice bold colors and then one individual in the picture. That's excellent.
You bet.
Yeah, I
Some
like
kind of dummy mannequin or something, I think, if you zoom in.
Oh, wow.
And this is also in Chicago. This is just walking along the water. I like the color complements of the orange and the blue. And
That's great how that
Yeah,
pops
yeah.
out.
And this is also in Ann Arbor by, there's a building on Washington Street across from the Y. And back, it's an old city building that's, they should probably tear down, but I'm not sure why they don't. Anyway, this is behind it. I just kind of thought it was interesting. Thank you for visiting. $125 fine.
Back again. All right.
Nice town.
Thanks.
I had some I'll go through just quickly.
You have a lot.
I struggled a little bit because I had something going on in the back of my mind with this assignment, and I'm gonna talk about that after I show these real quick. This is in Birmingham, one of the shops. It's Detroit Institute of Arts on the back side. Is that Brush Street on the back? I can't remember what street that is on the back where the big wall.
The parking lot is.
Oh,
Downtown Detroit.
that's nice.
I think there's somebody in the window, maybe.
Yeah.
This is early in the morning, downtown Rochester. I like doing these kind of street scenes with just shop fronts, you know, at different times of the day. Sometimes people add something, and sometimes they don't. Night shots.
Like the lighting in there with the chandelier on the top.
Yeah, I just wish there was somebody in the window that would have made it a little bit cooler.
Yeah, it would be, but that's nice.
Thanks.
Meridian Building.
Yeah.
Cool.
Down at Greenfield Village on a rainy day.
Yeah. Are there posters on the fence?
Yeah, those are the old time posters at Greenfield Village on the
Wow.
fence there.
Like it.
The parking deck in Rochester. Another old building in Rochester.
It's right around the corner from the sweet shop, isn't it?
Yeah. And a little back door to the pizzeria.
Is that like exposure? Is that what, or just the people in there?
There was a time exposure, and there was somebody inside walking around, so you get that kind of a ghost look.
Ghosting, yeah, that's cool.
And that. So, okay. So here's what I want to talk. The assignment is really a difficult one because you're trying to photograph without people, street photography, and that can be difficult. So the extension of this is if you look at your pictures and you were able to add a person, where would that person go and what kind of a message would that send in your picture? And there's two artists that I really like, and I thought I'd talk about them for just a little bit because we can really learn a lot, and they're Andrew Wyeth and Edward Hopper. And I put this little comparison chart on here, and think of the language that I used, the language that you were using to describe some of these pictures. So this is a comparison of styles. Hopper uses very simplistic geometric forms and compositions, bold colors, and the feeling of isolation and loneliness in urban settings. Wyeth, on the other hand, uses organic and natural forms and textures, uses muted and earthy tones, but has feelings of isolation and loneliness in a rural or a seascape setting. And if you're not familiar with these two artists, you should look them up, study them for a while, because I think it can add a lot to your photography if you understand the approaches they took to doing their art and the applications that they would have in street photography. And so I pulled out some Edward Hopper. You know, very simplistic in his style, in the feeling of loneliness. This happens to be one of the few pictures that he doesn't have people in, but it just, there's this overwhelming feeling of loneliness that it creates, even when there's more than one person. It just, there's something missing in terms of the freshness and the people involved in the picture. It just looks like they're so isolated in the world.
These remind me of that Gregory Crewdson photographer. I think
Well, these guys came before, so.
Yeah. But I'm saying, I think he uses this as his inspiration.
This is the famous Nighthawks. I know these are small. I hope they're not too small that you can, it's hard to find higher resolution images of these. But very simplistic, bold colors, the loneliness, the isolation. It's like they're there, but they're totally ignoring each other.
Right, they're in their own world.
This one I think is called the laundromat. And usually it's just an individual picture or an individual that's in the picture, and he's trying to convey this theme that he uses throughout all of his artwork. Okay, so now you compare that to Andrew Wyeth, who was from the Wyeth family. And I'm going to open these up in Photoshop so you can see them bigger. A totally different approach, but the intentions that the artist has is to create the same kind of feeling, but using an entirely different vernacular. So these are all, highly textured, organic styles. One of his books, the famous shot that he painted. He was staying at a friend's house and on a farm, and up in his room, the wind was blowing the curtains, and he did a painting of that. But the color palettes are almost identical in all of his pictures.
Christina's.
So Gary, how do you think he's creating this look? What do you think his technique is for getting there?
Well, it's the muting of the tones, and we can talk about how you combine different layers of tones and control the colors and how to mute that out. Now, this picture is one of the best known images in the world, and Joseph, you know the history of this probably better than I do. You still on?
Yes.
Christina's world.
Christina's world. And you think when you first see it, it's just a young lady, out at the farm, just sitting in the grass. But she was handicapped, and she actually was the owner of the farm, and she did not use a wheelchair or crutches. She actually crawled around the farm all the time. And you could see her out in the fields, going out to the fields, and she'd be on her hands and knees crawling. And Andrew Wyeth lived with the family for an entire summer and did some paintings of her. And I mean, the actual story behind this is incredible when you see the image and what your impression is when you first see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at the dress too. It's dirty. That's from crawling into the field and back.
Her hands are all muddy, and her knees and her shoes.
Okay, how old do you think she is?
In that picture? 40?
Yes. No, I think she's about 51 or 56.
In the painting?
Yeah, she was an older lady, and it looks like she's just a young girl.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
watch it.
thought it was gray in her hair.
But look at the color palette now. Compare this with what Hopper's doing. The feeling is the same, that loneliness, that isolation, but an entirely different approach. Now, what I want you to do is just think about how you can take these different approaches with your photography. When you bring that image back, it doesn't have to stay the way it is. You can take it off in different directions and not necessarily copying anybody, but just creating a look of your own.
It seems like they use neglect a lot to show that loneliness.
It's really a skill to be able to create an image like that where you can convey that feeling. Just the beautiful earthy tones.
had polio, by the way.
Who?
Christine,
Christine. Oops.
the girl in the picture.
What did you say, Joseph?
She was suffering from polio.
Oh, okay.
Border.
Okay, so I just wanted to show those just to give you an idea, you know, if you're looking for a style, how you can get to the same place with two entirely different styles. And, you know, if we want to have a session about how do you create styles like that, how do you create that muted look, we can do that. How do you create the Edward Hopper type of a look? You know, I think you've seen enough of my artography styles that, which I think goes in a direction of another artist, Norman Rockwell. And so it's great to study painters because you can pick up so many techniques and styles by studying their paintings, give you direction to your own pictures.
And by the way, she was 45 in that picture. Just looked it up.
Here's something for fun I was thinking about doing. This is something that I did from one of my images. You can find templates for magazine covers. Just Google it on the internet, and just about any magazine that you can imagine, you can create or find a stock template, and then take one of your pictures and try to imagine, you know, your picture on the cover of a Saturday Evening Post or a Life magazine, National Geographic, and take a look at the kind of style and the interpretation that you would use. And if you look at this is Norman Rockwell. When he was first doing his covers, the printing process was very limited for the Saturday Evening Post, and they only used a two-color process. They had a white background, and they used black and red. And as they progressed and the years went by, they added more and more colors. But through most of his time there, you know, the printing that was available at the time had very limited colors, so you got this kind of a muted look to the images. So taking, you know, this image and trying to replicate that kind of a feeling is kind of interesting. So just an idea that, you know, if you're thinking of trying something, try to imagine yourself creating a cover for a magazine. You know, it could be architecture magazine, it could be downtown storefronts magazine, or, you know, you make up your own magazine cover if you want, and just add something. And what you'll learn by doing this is you'll learn a ton of different things about using fonts, about using layers, about using what they call LUTs, lookup tables, for coloration of your images. And it's a way of developing your style. It's not just taking what's coming out of the camera and saying, you know, this is the picture, how do you like it? It's you becoming an artist and taking your image and making it your own style. So, you know, if we want to talk more about that, we can, but I just thought that was one of the ideas I had. There's another style I was looking at. It was called Impossible Architecture. And I wonder if I click on this, if I can get to this site, maybe. This is one of the sites I found on composite architecture, or composite photography.
There's some amazing stuff in here.
And the chances of us getting to this point is, you know, we're going to have to do a lot of work to get to a point where that we're competing with people like this. But on the journey that of getting you there, you're going to become a better photographer. You're going to become better at Photoshop. You're going to understand colors better. You're going to understand all these processes much better, and you will become a better photographer. Let me close that.
Those milk shots, I've seen some pictures of those, like they're amazing. I don't even know how they begin to get there.
Here's something called Impossible Architecture. And these are composites in Photoshop. They're starting, you know, the photographer starts with an image, and then using Photoshop, they create these pieces of architecture that don't exist in reality. There's an English house you see all over England, I imagine. And I think he is a British photographer that does these. But none of this is real. This is all made up. That, and there's one more.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I think I'm missing the link to that composite site, Bob.
Wow.
The one you sent me?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. Because that had some
Yeah.
later stuff.
Mm.
And these are developed talents and skills. They weren't born with this. This is something they had to learn and develop.
Oh my God.
And it takes time.
So when you said clever stuff, impossible architecture?
Gosh, I don't remember what the, I'm going to turn it back to you and you can, if you click on it, maybe you can see something there. Go ahead.
Yeah, here's the link. I'm going to share a screen. Which screen are we going to share? This one.
No, that wasn't it. There was a composite.
This guy? No, that's what you just showed us.
Yeah, there was another one.
Well, let me look. "10 street photographers everybody should know about."
Yeah.
Nope. I'd have sworn that was it, but it's not.
No, there was a composite. Okay. All right. So, the question is, what do we want to do next as a group? We need time to catch up. Do we need a question and answer period? You know, how do you already asked a couple of questions about how do you get those colors? How do you get those looks? And we could spend some time looking at that.
I like the idea of the colors, the different way to get the different colorizations that you were showing us.
Yeah, I saw a photo today. Someone did, it was with a cat sitting in some cacti, and the cacti were like a turquoisey color. They were the exact color of the cat's eyes. Like, how do they do that? I know that the cactus aren't those colors, but it looks so real other than the colors. I don't know how they do that.
Again, photos, taxes, inspiration.
I like the idea of creating the feeling of isolation or loneliness, however that looks, whether it's...
That's easy right now in the house with COVID.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, just take
I like that
selfies.
too, Ann.
Yeah, take selfies.
Yeah.
So when you look at Hopper and Wyeth, you get that feeling. Those pictures kind of convey that feeling of loneliness.
Yeah, they're very different styles,
right?
But the
It'd be
feeling you get.
So Ann, what if you had to pick one style or the other? Which direction would you go?
I don't know. I'd have to look at them again.
Or
I don't know.
You could do a hybrid where you could do part one and part the other. You don't have to copy exactly. You can.
Right.
When you start trying these, you'll find out which direction you want to go. What looks well with your pictures. And
Yeah, I think there's a fine line between the feeling of loneliness and maybe minimalism. I don't know.
Good point.
One thing to look at when you're doing street photography is not getting a whole lot of people in, but just trying to get one person in your picture that really conveys that. And maybe walking off the screen, not walking into the screen, just, or they're sitting on a park bench in the corner, those
Right.
kind of feelings.
So one of the keys is going to be figuring out how to do the various color techniques.
Yeah, that would be interesting, I think, with the, you mean with the, who was the second one that you showed?
Wyeth,
Wyeth.
Yeah.
the natural muted color.
I don't know if I would know how to do that.
Oh,
I see your
avatar.
your avatar is interesting.
Mine?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was just on.
popped up.
Oh, was it? Oh, well, the psychedelic one.
Your photographs are going to dictate the direction a lot of this is going to go. But the more you understand the different painters and artists out there, you'll have more to draw on when you start looking at your pictures and say, I want to do something with my pictures to make them different, to make them mine. And when you have this different collection that you're familiar with, you can say, maybe I want to go in this direction or that direction. The idea isn't to end up with 15 different styles. Most of the famous photographers and artists had a style and a look to their photographs and to their artwork. I've made the mistake that I've got 100 different styles. So,
me too.
All over the place. But, as I get older, I'm starting to gravitate to certain kinds. The artography I like a lot. So maybe I'll stick with that. But it's okay to experiment. That's the only way you're going to find out who you are as a photographer. If you just take what's coming out of the camera, there's not a lot of stuff there. You have to personalize it, be the artist, and that's where I'm going to push to get everybody to go.
Do you guys have specific questions on how to achieve making subdued colors versus the bold colors?
Yeah, is it primarily able to be done in Photoshop, and if so, how?
Yeah, okay. Do we have time tonight just to look at a couple ideas, or do you want to wait for another?
No, we can do it.
Let me see if I have something real quick that I can. Let me just take this. This is one of the few color images I have here, and open this. Okay, this is the downtown shot. Now, if I wanted to go to an Andrew Wyeth type of a look, I probably would just.
The screen?
Oops, that's right. Oops. Got to go back. Sorry. I'm not making a lot of sense. Am I with just talking to myself?
While you are doing that, I'm looking at Kevin. He's doing the minimalist approach. He's one chair in one room there.
Okay.
That's right. That's even why I picked the picture. I like the minimalist. Joseph.
All right. Is my screen on there now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a background layer. I'm going to duplicate the layer so I have two. Now there's a lot of ways to do this, to create a sepia tone image. And one of them is real simple, is just to go up into image, adjustments, black and white. Turns it black and white, but if you notice down at the bottom, there's a little box that says tint. When I click that, you have sliders here that control the color and the saturation. So if I take this saturation down to a real muted tone, I find this is probably the easiest and most effective way to create a tone. If I wanted to go to
what screen did you hit, or what is that window there? What command did you get that window?
Black and white, I think, right?
Start over. I just go up to image, adjustments, black and white.
So when you do tint, do the colors sliders above it still affect it?
Good question. Let's try it. Let's see if I go. Let's go back to my sepia here.
I think it would.
And then let's see. Maybe a little. I think they do.
The yellow?
No, they seem to do anything.
I don't see a lot of movement.
No.
What if you do that first?
Oh.
There we go.
Oh yeah, there we go. The red's doing something. Yeah.
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 I think what it's doing is affecting the black and white.
Right. Almost like a filter.
And this is giving it the tint. So if I turn that off, it's black and white. And if I go blue, dark, there goes the
Oh,
sky.
I see. Yeah.
Okay, so I could make that change first if I wanted.
Right.
Then I could go to the tint and do that. So that they would work together. So that's a good question. Yeah. So I say, okay, so I have that on my top layer, and then below it is the color version. Now it's just a simple blending of the two to bring in just enough of the color to give it that look. So, it looks like I'm at about 90% of the sepia on the top and 10% of the color below. And you can see you get these real faded, muted colors in there. And the more I go with the opacity down, the more the colors come through from the lower level.
What does fill mean?
Where
100%, where it says a fill 100%.
Yeah, I don't use it, so I can't answer that question.
Oh, okay, good. Then I don't need to.
I only investigate things that I know I'm going to use.
It must be important.
It's probably something I could use, but I've never looked into it. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
But so if this was going to be my Andrew Wyeth, I might go more sepia and just a little touch of color. And then when you finish, you can just merge the images, go back into Camera Raw, and you can do the touch up in Camera Raw. Since it's still a color picture, I can warm it up, or I can cool it down with just the temperature slider. We can brighten this up, darken it, go night scene. So there's a lot of ways to do that. Let's go back and start with the layer. And Bob knows this better than I do, but starting to use, if we go to adjustments, and you'll see this on the second row of adjustments, there's a little box here. And this is called color lookup. And these are called LUTs, lookup tables. And you can start with all these different color combinations. Here's a bleach bypass. Now, what you're going to see on the screen is not necessarily how it's going to look in the end. You can still make adjustments after that if you have a second layer, but it's just, and let's look at that right now. So if I want to blend that, with the other layers, I can do that.
You can play with blend modes or opacities.
Yeah. But adjustments, I probably have to back up before I do that.
And you can make your own color lookups. They're just glorified presets.
So there's all these different color combinations and tonal composition, and there's thousands of these. You can download as many as you like. I mean, if you, what are the people that do this with their iPhone with all the different colors and the pastels and things like that? There's a website for that. What's that called?
I don't remember.
Oh gosh. Anyhow, that's essentially what they're doing. They're looking for all these pastel colors and
all the movie guys. Every director has his own LUTs that make his film look the way he wants it to look.
So
Bob, I'm sorry, you put these on YouTube, the recordings of the class now?
Yes.
Okay.
They should be safe there because nobody ever goes to my YouTube channel. Before yesterday, I didn't have any subscribers.
I'm going to subscribe, Bob. I like the idea. I can go back and watch these.
And if we go and turn this to a black and white again, just to show you the another way of doing this. is to go into the blending modes. And now we've got all kinds of different combinations here that you can draw from.
And then you start changing the opacities on the combinations.
Right. You know, just because it's light here doesn't mean that's where it has to end. You can just go in here and change opacities. And so there's thousands and thousands of combinations. There is no correct or right combination for anything. It's what you want it to be. So as you start playing with these things, you know, it's just a learning process. Try it, you know, try every one of them and see the variations that you're going to get. You might want to take notes. Each one of these does a certain thing. I think darken compares the 2 layers and then picks the darkest pixel on one layer versus the other. Lighten does just the opposite. I think it compares the 2 pixels on the layers, picks the lighter of the 2.
Screen mode.
Are you still on the black and white and you're getting all this color?
I have the black and white as the top layer and the color is on the bottom, but I'm going through the blending modes, and the blending modes are forcing the color back up through the black and white and making, you know, different contrast combinations and things like that. I mean, there's some really weird combinations that you can get.
Well, this looks normal to me.
Yeah. Depends on what you're drinking that right now.
No, I just took an edible.
So the idea is to experiment. You know, one simple experiment is just turn one layer black and white, the other color, and just start playing with blending modes. Turn one layer to a sepia tone and blend it with the color tones, just to get an idea of what you can do. You can intensify color just by using 2 layers of color and going into the blending modes and intensifying colors. Let me delete this layer. Now, if I take this into Camera Raw, you can individually control every color that you have with this luminosity and saturation. If I want to take just the reds and start playing with those, that's the only color that's affected here. I can affect the luminance.
And the hue.
And the hue.
You could do like my little car, everything black and white except for that red.
Sure.
That could be fun.
And I think Ann asked last week, you know, how do you change the color like an umbrella?
Yes, I did.
I don't have an umbrella here, but let's try something where I am going to select these awnings.
My grandson from Texas called about 2 hours ago asking me how to change a photograph's colors.
You should have joined us.
So I've selected these 2 awnings. There's a lot of ways to do this, but again, you know, if you've learned how to use that first one where I go into the adjustments black and white, let's just try it again. I turned them black and white, but now I can tint that, and I can change the colors by just sliding this color slider around. I can increase the saturation. And if you don't get the exact color you want, leave it this color, come back in and try it again, and you'll be able to change another variation of that color. You know, that's one way of doing it. There's also a color replace adjustment here. Wish
Adam.
replace color. So by going into this, you can actually pick your start color, and then you can go in here and pick your final color. There's plenty of ways to make those kind of adjustments. But the idea is to learn these techniques so that as you go along, these become second nature to you, and you look at your picture and you say, ah, the umbrella's got to be red, and 1, 2, 3, you got it done, and you can move on.
Sensitive is it? Do you see that little awning that has the lamppost in front of it? would you be able to, in the lower left?
This one?
Yeah, would you be able to just do the awning and not the lamppost?
Sure. I mean, if I make a selection of that triangle and then
Oh,
I
I
add a
see.
selection of this.
Okay.
Oops. So I've selected everything of the awning except for that green area in between. So that if I go in now, let's use the same technique, adjustments, black and white, tint. You can see the other one's going too.
Because the select.
Yeah, we've got them both selected, so they're going to change together.
Gary, which tool did you use to do the selection?
I just used the selection brush up here,
Okay.
up in the corner, the fourth one down,
Mm-hmm.
and then just stick it in there, press the button on your mouse and select the area. If you want to add two areas together, hold down the shift key or the option key and it'll add, you can add to it. And then once you get it selected, then you can go through and do all these color changes that you want.
And don't be afraid to zoom in close to get your detailed selection.
Yeah.
Now you can see I made a little error here, but if you have your selection brush, you make it small enough, I think by holding down the option key, I can subtract, there we go. So I took that out. That was just using the selection brush with the option button down that subtracts that from the area that I've selected. These selection brushes are pretty smart. They've come a long way. And if you have a person in the picture and you have the selection brush hidden, you can go up here and you can say select subject, and this will actually pick the person out and highlight it. It's a great tool.
What would you use that for? To take the person out of the picture, or?
Well, you can lighten or darken them. You could actually cut them out and put them in a different place in the picture.
Oh.
Let me see. I don't know if I have these are all pictures with no people in them, so I don't have a, did somebody have a picture with
Go back to your magazine cover.
Okay, good. Selection, select subject. Wow.
It just selected 3 people almost.
Wow.
Not bad.
Then you have to tune it up a little bit usually.
Yeah, there's a few little pieces here. If you look closely, you can see part of this dress on the left-hand side or right-hand side didn't get in. And so you can just hold down your option button or your shift button and add in some of these areas. And you can fine tune this, I think. You can select and mask.
Oh.
Just by hitting that button, the software pulled them right out of the picture.
It doesn't
Now you
always
lost
work,
me.
but it's pretty good.
What is that? What did you just do? You took them out of the picture, and now what?
Well, if you wanted to put them in a different background, if you were doing composites, where really sophisticated composite, maybe you had a different scene in London someplace, and you wanted to put these people in that scene. Composite drawings get very, very complicated, and you're going to see these images with pictures, with parts of it taken from a dozen different pictures and all brought in. And this is how they're doing the cutting and the masking, is they're actually going into Photoshop, cutting something out of one photograph and then dragging it into another picture, getting the shadows right, getting the coloration right, and making it work.
Gary, where do you refine the mask? Like feather the mask?
That's right here next to it. Well, one is select up the upper left-hand corner. You can see my cursor up here, and the other is select and mask.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it did a pretty good job right now without even playing around. It did a nice job. So if
So where would you go though from this point to refine it? How would you refine it from here?
you can control the edges and how it's going to cut the edges, get real sharp or kind of soft. There's a radius here. There's a global refinement, smoothing the edges, feathering the edges, the contrast on the edges, softening the edges. I mean, some of these guys that are so good at these composites, they'll spend hours and hours, and these are really important adjustments to make so that these things look realistic when you drag them in and not look like they were cut out with an X-Acto knife out of a piece of paper.
Usually they want the edges to be a little bit softer than.
Yeah, usually mine look like the X-Acto knife.
So if I say edit, copy, and then file, new, create,
If you've got an image that looks like an X-Acto knife, just go in with a brush and blur it slightly, just around the edges.
I'll just slap this onto a new white background, and if I wanted to do something, you can obviously see that we're missing part of a hand here, in the dresses. We didn't spend as much time on the cut that we could have, but that's the idea. If you're going to take one image and cut it out, put it in another, it's not that difficult to do. This tool has gotten so refined over the last couple of years that it's remarkable what it can do.
So some tutorials where they cut out hair,
Yes.
that was amazing what this tool can do.
So it's getting late. Well, let's talk about. Somebody should have an idea for an assignment. What should it be? What would you like to do? Something based on what you saw today, or something entirely different? I'll leave it up to you.
Maybe that loneliness theme, something along those lines.
Okay, something like doing our street photography, but maybe leaving just one person in the scene.
Yeah, that, or it wouldn't necessarily have to be street. It could be rural.
Yeah, it could be anywhere.
Well, the loneliness theme, if you looked at Hopper, his diner shot with 4 or 5 people in there was pretty iconic.
I'm going to turn this back to you, Bob.
You think I have anything?
You got it, Bob.
Now what do I do with it?
But again, if you're going to do that, study Hopper, study Wyeth a little bit, decide, where you want to go with your picture. And, it doesn't hurt to have inspiration to go out and start shooting these pictures, and then it's just a matter of walking around and looking for a scene where you can find one individual just sitting. You wander around downtown Rochester, Northville, Greenfield Village, and just, wait for the scene to happen. Find a nice background. That's really the key. If you find a background and then just wait for somebody to walk into your scene, and capture them right on the edge, maybe walking in or out of the picture, going into a doorway, all kinds of options.
So is that what you want to do, or some variation?
It's up to you guys. I think it's a good idea.
For me.
And that gives us a chance to work on the color a little bit, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, let's say we're not going to settle for the standard colors. We're going to do something special, make it yours. No matter how crazy it looks, try something different just to get off center.
Can I reuse my bike?
Sure.
Why not?
Does black and white count?
You can make, tone it sepia. I mean, that's, Wyeth wasn't that far from being just a sepia tone. If you like to do that, you can do that.
And maybe that's something for a future thing. And we see all these toned black and whites.
Yeah.
And I rarely see anything that isn't sepia or what I would call black and white.
Right.
So using some of those other colors would be interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Because you see how Gary uses them in all kinds of pictures with different degrees of intensity and
So
Yeah,
here's
I'm always too scared to do that stuff.
if you're photographing a snow scene, which way are you going to go with your tint, hot or cold?
Cold.
If you're going to photograph a beach, which way are you going to go, hot or cold?
Yeah.
Warm.
Okay, that's just the same logic that you're going to use. You know, if you want a feeling, just a cold, isolated feeling, sometimes you go to the bluish colors, the colder colors. If you want a happier scene, you know, a Norman Rockwell kind of a look. You know, he didn't use those kind of colors. He used the warm tones, the happy tones. You know, so think about how those colors are going to impact your picture.
And if you struggle with it, this group's pretty forgiving.
Thank God.
Yeah,
We'll
really.
put our thick skin on
The
for tomorrow.
idea is not to, you know, necessarily produce a masterpiece in 2 weeks. It's to learn the process, learn some techniques, and you'll grow as a photographer, guaranteed.
Enjoy seeing all the different things people are trying. It's fun. Sometimes I think it's hard with club to try something, you know, outside the box. So this is nice. And free space or safe space.
I agree. I think even with club though, I think just do you, you know?
Well, yes, you're
That's
right.
fine.
Yeah, you're right. It's just hard sometimes.
I have noticed in club though that some of the really good pictures that we show here end up in club.
Yeah.
They usually do pretty well in club too. So.
Well, the other
Oh,
thing
that's
is
true.
the more we take our variety of techniques and infuse them into club competitions, the more you begin to educate the folks.
Yeah, they might come around and take a picture of a car.
Oh, come on, nobody wants a car
As
picture.
long as there's a bird on a stick. Otherwise, you can't score higher than 2.
Well, there's a challenge for you, Kevin. You know, give us an example of some car pictures that either Andrew Wyeth or Edward Hopper would
Okay.
paint.
Well, some of the pictures I saw tonight got me thinking, and I think I have some pictures like that with cars. So I've even already been trying that motion blur going up and down with the cars. Didn't work out too good.
Do you have any old cars sitting in a field, you know, with weeds and grass growing around it, something like that?
I know right where to
He
go.
likes the new stuff.
They got
Can we
stuff.
use those for this assignment? I have a couple from that place in Arizona with
Yeah,
cars.
sure.
And
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's no rules here. Just you know.
Yeah, it's your
Try it.
interpretation of isolation and loneliness, neglect.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, a selfie.
Selfies are good. Put the camera on a tripod with a timer and photograph yourself sitting in the library.
All right, so I guess we have an assignment.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
I'll take the video and post it up to the ginormous YouTube in the sky.
We'll
I'm
have
glad you're
thousands.
doing that, Bob.
We will have thousands of followers very soon. You wait. This is going to be.
Okay. I'm cool with
You're
it.
going to get sponsorships.
All right. So,
And if anybody tries a magazine cover, they get extra points. So
well, it's a 1,000 years.
Supposedly, I've been digitally in a magazine last week.
were you good?
I can't confirm it because I can't find the damn magazine, but that's what they told me.
So, Gary, where do you get your templates for the magazines? Is that just a stock photo or?
Just Google magazine templates,
Okay.
and everything comes up. You can't believe all the different magazines templates that you can find, and you can always make it up. But you'll find National Geographic and all these other ones. I mean, there's a magazine for everything, and it's pretty easy to find a template for just about any of those magazines. And it's kind of fun to put your own picture on there. And when my daughter and son-in-law graduated from Michigan State Law School, they had their gowns on, and I did a Norman Rockwell cover of the two of them walking away, you know, with the gowns on, and it really came out nice. And they've got this huge enlargement in their family room, and it's kind of cool to play with stuff like that.
I want to see that one next week.
Okay.
Or next time, not next week. next time.
By the way, one of you guys just try to see if you can download those those videos, one of them.
From
YouTube?
YouTube?
From YouTube, yeah.
All right.
I don't know if it'll let you. It should.
Okay.
So I guess the magazine template for Penthouse would be off limits.
The house
No?
is okay.
Yeah, not for me. What are you talking about?
Put Kevin on
Only
the
if,
cover, that'd be good.
only if you're the subject matter.
Not over 70 yet.
Maybe I'll put my
Architectural
picture on a
magazine,
template for that
right?
Playgirl magazine.
Real
you know?
estate?
Bob's YouTube channel.
Yeah, don't forget Joseph. Where are you? Where's my backup? Oh, that's right. You got a girlfriend now.
Yep.
All right, very good.
All right.
we never got to go out, and you could be my wingman.
Get after a couple more people to get show up on.
Of course, that's only because I'm sober now. If I'm drinking, we don't need anything. Don't worry about it. That's not a good place to be with Kevin.
All righty.
Good night.
We'll call
Thanks,
it quits.
everybody.
Guys.
All right. Good
Thank
to be
you.
back.
Good night.
Good to have you back. Bye-bye.
Bye.